Hello and good evening. We're back in the Young Living booth at For Your Health, and tonight we're talking about liver health and NingXia Red. And when I joined Young Living in 2007, I got a free allowance of NingXia Red, and I obviously with everything you get free, I began to drink it on a regular basis. The previous 10 years I'd had a severe liver problem. I'd had enzymes in my blood which indicated that my liver was under stress, and I'd had 2 biopsies, and both biopsies showed that there was no cirrhosis of the liver, but the liver never got any better. And over that period of time between the first and the second biopsy, the liver remained in exactly the same state. No cirrhosis, but it was a non-alcoholic fatty liver. Within 5 months of joining Young Living, I went for my first routine blood test, and I used to go every 3 months for blood tests. And by the time it came for the second blood test, they began to notice changes in my blood. So that was 5 months after starting NingXia Red. They noticed considerable differences, whereas always the markers in my blood had been the same. Not that I understand anything medical, I was in publishing in print, but I knew by looking at the readout that when the blood markers were outside of the norm, they were just inside a bracket with the letter H, so I knew they were high, like the bilirubin, and the readings for the different other elements of the blood was always outside of the normal tolerances. And within 5 months, like I said, there was great differences in my blood, and it actually made me much more aware of what was actually going on. So I asked the clinic if I could have the 3 previous years' bloods, and I had those, and I looked at them, and there was no changes over the previous 3 years. They had more or less been in balance. They were always high, and the doctors expected that. And when I started to take the NingXia Red, then the blood markers started to move, and my blood profile started to move back to the norm, which was a great shock to me and to the doctors, because they said, well, you know, what is it you're doing differently? What are you eating differently? Have you changed? Are you doing a lot more exercise? And I said, no, I don't do exercise. And sadly to say, I wasn't. The only thing that I was doing differently was I was taking NingXia Red. And I started to read the book on NingXia Red that Gary and Mark had written, and I started to understand how the wolfberry and the goji NingXia juice, how it was affecting the blood profiles, and why. It's only when you read the book and you understand the power of the wolfberry with regards to the liver and liver function and liver health. And the book starts off by telling you that liver health is the one organ health which actually determines length of life. You know, if you don't have a healthy liver, you have a job, you know, a difficulty reaching old age. So how pleasing it was for me that my blood markers started to move. And then in November, I'd been down to Australia for 3 months. I came back, and in September 2009, when I had my bloods checked, my blood profiles were normal. I went back to Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, and my liver function was normal. And I started to tell the doctor about NingXia Red and the specialist at the liver clinic that I could tell by their look on their face they were not really interested in wanting to know about it. And to be quite honest, it meant no difference to me anyway. It was sadness, because the liver clinic attendances over the 10 years I'd been had trebled, and a lot of those people were a lot younger than I was. So I would just recommend to you a daily use of NingXia Red, and I produced a card for Your Health, and the details you can see online anyway. But to understand the antioxidant power of NingXia Red, you need to look into it. And anyone with liver complaints, I would say get onto my website, email me, john@foryourhealth.co.uk, and I will certainly guide you into what I was doing, into the regime that I was involved in. Thank you very much for calling in this evening.